Eleanor? All right. Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Thank you for waiting for a couple of minutes. We had some things we needed to take care of. I would like to welcome everybody here and thank you for joining us this evening. We are going to jump into awards and recognitions by Mr. Parker.
We are so blessed today to have just someone who has demonstrated tremendous excellence. We're going to talk about a senior at Great Crossing High School who has accomplished and celebrated just a tremendous amount of accolades here lately. Kate Rush is a multi-sport athlete who was recently named Kentucky's Miss Volleyball by the Kentucky Volleyball Coaches Association. This is the first time any volleyball player in Scott County has received this honor. I'm fairly certain she is the most decorated female athlete and possibly athlete, regardless of gender, in all of Scott County history. Ooh. Here's some facts to share about her participation as a volleyball player. 328 kills, 78 blocks, 806 assists, 206 digs, and 69 aces. I had the good fortune to get to witness her in action. And what I thought was interesting was she is such a profound player that I witnessed other students on other teams, other players on other teams, get hit in the face with the ball that she struck over the net. And after they got over the shock, there was a little smirk like, oh yeah, she just like the great Kate Rush just crushed me. So I'm not making that up. I've saw that many times at her games this year. Led her team to their 6th consecutive district championship, and again, I talked about highly decorated. Also recently recognized as an Under Armour All-American, putting her in the top 30 in the country in high school volleyball. She's an American Volleyball Coaches Association All-American and was a member of the AVCA High School All-Region team. Ms. Rush is committed to play at Western Kentucky University, and we wish her continued success in her academic and athletic endeavors. Please join us as we join Warhawk Nation, who has been celebrating her all year and celebrating Kentucky's Miss Volleyball 2024, Miss Kate Rush. For her, a token of excellence, the Scott County Schools Challenge coin that I'll
She Congratulations. Thank you. For those of you who don't know, I'm part of the volleyball world, and I've watched her play since, well, I don't know how many years now, but congratulations. Very well deserved. Number 4, agenda approval.
I so move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 5, public comment. Mila Davis? Is that correct?
I believe it's Mike.
Mike! Oh, Mike, you stood up. Oh. All right. Does this not look like look at this. Does this look like an L and an A? This looks like an L and an A. Here, everybody.
It's been a long week.
Hi, Mila.
Now I got a new name.
I got some glasses over here.
All right, Mila, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I have been called worse, I can guarantee you. In class, so, you know.
Oh, my gosh.
That's okay.
Mike Davis, I fixed you.
Yeah,
There you
thank
go.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Parker, and members of the community. As the president of the Scott County Education Association, one of the most primary responsibilities is advocating for teachers, staff, and employees that we represent. Our role is often includes tough conversations and standing firm in our beliefs, even when the path forward is challenging. but that's what we are called to do. Fight for what's right, even when we don't agree. Over the last 4 months, we have fought tirelessly against one of the most concerning measures I've ever been a part of in education. We rallied together to defeat in all 120 counties Amendment 2, a bill that would severely have impacted our education status. Throughout the process, I ask you to stand with me, I ask you to support us, and I want to personally thank each and every one of you for standing with us and standing with the public education community. Your support meant the world to everybody that I represent, and I really wanted to thank you for that. Superintendent Parker, your leadership and unwavering stance against Amendment 2, albeit as a citizen, was critical in helping us navigate through this difficult time. We know that the fight wasn't easy, but together we persevered, and in the end, the people of Kentucky spoke. Across every county, all the opposition to the bill. But that victory comes with a significant responsibility. We as educators have been given a mandate, in my opinion. It's a mandate to provide the best education possible for the students entrusted to us. Our community expects us to give the most prized possession of their children the best we have to offer. To make that expectation a reality here in Scott County, we must continue to innovate, lead, and ensure that education remains the top priority in everything that we do. I truly believe we're headed in the right direction. We have strong leadership at the top. We have strong leadership at the board. We have strong school leaders at our schools doing a fantastic job to foster a positive culture for our students. We also are making strides in compensation, ensuring that those who choose to work and live in Scott County are valued appropriately. But there's still much more work to be done. We must continue to push forward in offering the best work environment possible. One of the things that would attract top talent to Scott County, which includes continuing our increase in compensation. The best educators and employees are the ones that are passionate about their work, and we want everyone that we can think of that is that passionate to be here and call this place home. I look forward to continuing to collaborate with you in all these endeavors. Scott County remains a place where educators can thrive and make a real impact, and I appreciate that, and that's all a sentiment to each and every one of you leaders. Thank you again for your valued support. Now, before I leave, I wanted to just let you know, because there's been so much time we always hear about the negative that's going on, and a lot of the phone calls that we have to take are usually because of negative things happening. So I wanted to let you know just a few things that I asked the schools to share with me that they're doing that are positive, that maybe you already know that's going on, but maybe some others don't. As like Garth Elementary has their Buffalo Learning Lab in full swing. Thanks to a community school initiative, they have partnered with Georgetown College's pre-service teachers and are providing extended school services for their 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. We had a parent that's also a member talk about 2 classified people at Great Crossing High School that are basically helping their child flourish. We as an association right now are working with North Carolina and their education association to try to come up with some things to help the teachers there that are devastated by the hurricanes. We're working with them right now to do a materials drive so that they can actually perform basic classroom situations. Amanda Sunda and all the people at ECS, and which has been going on for years in Scott County, is doing the annual food drive, where if you've ever seen the stack of food that usually gets put in the high school gymnasiums, it's remarkable. And that's just our community giving back to those that we care so much about. We just had a assistant principal in our school system who's also a member of SEA, who's lost his home in a fire. The response from the education community was outstanding to see how they came in his time of aid in his time of need. I heard from the principal's ag class at the Rural Springs where they did a project and learned about the entrepreneurship, and they were able to sell it like a Shark Tank project where the judges had to buy their product. There's so many great things going on, and I heard so many numerous things going on with Veterans Day assemblies. Rural Springs, again, had a former teacher there that is now serving overseas that they did a Zoom with during their Veterans thing. It was just, amazing to hear some of the great things that's going on. all the cards that were made by other elementary school students so that they could give to veterans. You know, this is a great place to live. I've been here since 2013. We had an opportunity when my son chose to, when he graduated and went away to play college football, we asked ourselves, do we want to stay? And it was a resounding yes by both me and my wife. And we have a grandson, like I said, who's in preschool. And we value what's going on here. And I think that there's just a lot of good that sometimes doesn't get all the press it needs. And I just wanted to make sure, you know, I want to be more positive than I am negative in anything I do, you know, and I think that's important. And that's the way I've chose to lead our education association. I just got our new numbers in. We're a little over 330 people. It's the largest it's ever been. And, you know, I want to be able to let you all know everything that we can that's going on. So I appreciate your help with us in Amendment 2. I appreciate your strong stances on it. I appreciate you being there with us. But I thank you for everything that you're doing for us, and we hope to look forward to working with you as we move forward. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you for your kind
very
words.
much.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Thank you, Mike.
Oh, yes, okay. And I'm changing my name to Millis. So I put it on my
I changed it back. I changed it
Oh,
back
you
to
did?
Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. We're okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I apologize.
That's okay.
Mike, I'll come to Phoenix tomorrow and we can be Milla Vanilla and we can sing.
Millie
something.
Vanilli.
Hey,
So,
We're never going to hear the end of this for him. Yes, thank you. Number 6.
Move to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 7, construction report. Hello, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Boy, I should have brought people with me. It's a big table today. Well, good evening, and I'm a little sad that I'd done sharing high school pictures because you know, the project's over, and of course Garth is pretty much wrapped up. We are working on punch lists on both, or the contractors are. A little bit left at the 96 high school, the main part of the high school that is now the middle school. It has a few punch list items that will be taken care of either over Thanksgiving or Christmas break, but for the most part, as we all know, it's occupied and doing well. Yep. But what I wanted to show some finished pictures on, maybe they can push it for me. There we go, is the bleachers that are out front there. That's pretty much done now, and they've tried to get some grass seed down. But that's a good shot from up at the top. Yeah, I guess if you don't mind, just, that's okay. Is this, maybe, do I have to turn it on? So, if you don't mind. And of course, you come to the parking lot and bang, you walk right up the ramp. It's so convenient now just to walk right up to the top row of the bleachers. That's great. Next picture. And that just shows where the new concrete ramp is, and they've put in some grass. It's going to be on our punch list for them to level that plane out a little bit. And next picture is still some more bleachers there. Just another good shot. It really, you know, I think back to when we first started talking about this, and everybody, including myself, was thinking how impossible it's going to be to make something like this happen. And there it is. Next picture. So there it is if you're standing up with the field house at your back. So just a great shot. There's going to be a lot of good seats for people to watch all kinds of games. Next picture is just another good shot from the other end. So successful. They're pretty much done. Again, I've picked up a few punch list items on grade work and seed and things like that for them to finish up on. But as far as I know, it's pretty good. Now, if we talk about the news, any questions on 96 or any of those construction projects? If we talk about new Scott County Elementary School number 10, I have some handouts. This is just,
Hey, I'm good.
Thanks, Tony.
this is just easier for you to see. I think I always
Thank
bring
you.
one. You can hang on to it.
Oh, look at that.
But it's also, what you have is what's on the screen right now. You just may be able to see it a little bit better. So the elementary school, K-5, And you can just see the layout, and of course, we'll get much zoomed in a little bit more, but the bottom is the front, much like Creekside Elementary School floor plan, 74,000 square feet. And if we go to the next slide, it zooms in on the front there. You can see where the entry is, similar to Creekside. You come into a main hall. The big space in the middle is the media center, classroom wings shooting off in each direction. And if you went to the back, the more common areas where you have art, and I say common, kind of the special activities classes, plus 4 kindergarten classrooms. 2 of those, that's something different than Creekside, if you remember from the schematic last month. Instead of 2 computer labs, we have 2 kindergarten rooms there. And then, of course, we move to the next slide. You'll see just the back area there, pretty much like Creekside, but the gym, the cafeteria, and the kitchen. One little change is right at the very top, we added a little electrical room. One thing, I talked last time at the schematic approval, how we've walked around with several people, and we've talked with Carrie, the principal, and different people, and made some adjustments in a few door locations and the kindergarten rooms, and we added a little bitty electrical room at the very back there. Yep, that's it. So that. So if we go to the next slide, just classroom wing shooting off to the left, and so that's basically all that is. And these are things that we've already, kind of gone over, just reiterating them. Yep, and the next slide is, of course, to the right now. Oh, thank you so much. So this is where the storm shelter will be. The last 5 classrooms and a resource room and the bathrooms will encompass the storm shelter. So that is one unique thing here that we had to design in. And of course, that design development, KD wants us to show you if there's any specialized spaces, that we show you that they're enlarged. The tables, and the shelving and the casework and the sinks and things like that will be built into this. The teacher's area that you see up there, we'll have a wardrobe, of course, the teacher's desk and file cabinets, usually by the district. And this is just a shot of the elevation of the casework, so you can see in the art.
That was one of those changes from Creekside to this one, where remember it had the cabinetry that came out in the art with the sink.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
There was right around
That's
here,
right. That's
double
right.
sink, whereas that was feedback.
That's right. That's right. That's correct. That's correct. And now we have one big wash-up sink which I think is going to work much better for the art teacher. And there's just an elevation shot of it with the casework. And over to the right, you can see the huge wash-up sink there. If you go to the media center, there were some comments on the media center. I think everybody liked the media center, but there was discussion about the layouts and how tables have moved around. Well, we're providing the same furniture, so this furniture will be in the contract. But we're just showing it this. You can move it around however you. In the end, if those decisions want to be made after we walk away, or during the shop drawing process, we can move that furniture around. Everything that's out away from the walls is loose furniture, so that can be moved around. So there's the media center. And there's the food service. We are still going to have a meeting, even though we're pretty much copying what's going on at Creekside. We're still going to have a meeting with your all's food service, and I've brought a consultant on just to make sure that, I don't know if you all remember Joby Smith, but he was the consultant on this kitchen, and he just said he was too busy to come back at this. He said he couldn't help us till summer, and I'm like, we'll be bid by then. So I'm hiring another consultant to come in to meet with you and the food service and Dwayne, and we're meeting in the morning on hardware. I mean, things are moving fast, and we'll have a meeting on the food service, but don't anticipate much change really.
This one, as I recall, Tony, we've got a lot of feedback on the roll down door at Creekside, so we've made a tweak.
Good point. Yeah, down there at the bottom, instead of a big roll down grill, it's 2 wide doors that will just open up and push open, and that way you're just dealing with doors. You're not dealing with big coiling grills and things of that nature. Any questions on the kitchen? That's in the high school. We'll go through about 40 slides. At elementary school, that's it. I mean, there's a gymnasium, but it's a gym with a basketball.
I think too, what's helped us is that we've got. Have a school in the district.
Right. I kept telling myself though, don't say go see Creekside because you know I
We're
should.
all individuals.
Well, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Well, again, I would applaud their staff just as I did Great Crossing.
Mhm.
On
Right.
feedback that they provided. Make sure keep the great things
Mhm.
and the things that maybe they didn't
Right.
really have anything that wasn't great. But
Mhm.
you just a couple little tweaks.
Well, and you know, I think at schematic, I did send you that plan. There actually were several changes
Yes,
that
I
we made
reviewed that.
from. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
we
the
got a
yellow- the
long
yellow
list of
sheet.
things and made several changes, but didn't reiterate them here. But good comments. You live and learn. You know, you live and learn. So the other thing that KDE likes to do at design development is show you what the school will look like. Now remember, colors are selected later. So.
Hear that?
We're gonna yell when it
Did
comes up. I
everybody
already
hear
see
that?
it. I'm looking at
So
it
you
right
almost have to look at these as if they're black and white, and it's just the form of the building, but it's much funner, you know,
Go
if you go ahead
Boo.
and.
Why'd you bring that up?
Why do I think that was on purpose?
I know.
I think it was.
Why? What was that?
I'll pretend I know nothing. But so there it is at the front of the school, the bus canopy that goes up to the front gabled roof area there. The brick we'll select some colors of brick. And I'm talking about post bid. We'll have brick selections, we'll have roof color selections, we'll have trim selections. But if we wanted to look at something just a little bit different, and I don't even know if you noticed it, but this one is just a little bit lighter blue, a little bit lighter shade of blue. And then this one is a brown. I would need to change the brick a little more on this one with the mansard brown roof. But
We can talk about that.
yeah, so that's right. Post bid,
wanna go down
these
that
are
rabbit
these are just showing that there are some options out there. Of course, Creekside owns the red, so we're not going to take the red roof from there. So that's what the building looks like. Now let's talk about the site. I would have liked to have the site more developed at this point, but I mean, in terms of, we've got a survey now. The geotechs have been hired to go out there and do the geotechnical work. The orientation of the school, just so you know, for one, has flipped from what you were looking at in the earlier plans. The entry is now towards the north, towards the top. So that would be the bus lanes. So let me go ahead and squeeze in there. So one thing that we have done also in response to some of the comments at Creekside was to enlarge the parking out front. So that area, you know, has about 50 more parking spaces, you know, out in front of the school than the previous one did. Over to the left, it's really just a diagram of where more parking will be. But at this point, we're also trying to locate, and of course, still working with Mr. Dwayne, in getting 2 playgrounds in this area without maybe crossing a road. Of course, if you did cross a road, it would just be a car lane. But still, we're going to try to work that out. So if you look at the site and where we enter in up there on 62 Cynthiana Road and down into the neighborhood, which we're still trying to get solid information on for exactly where that road is down at the bottom in the neighborhood there. I mean, that will be the 2 entries to the site. There'll be a loop all the way around the site. You know, that's pretty much a given. How those turn and tweak and exactly where that second parking lot is still a little bit to be determined. We'll be talking, of course, to your administrators and staff over the next couple of weeks to iron that out and then solidify it for final plans. At this point, still scheduled for December. We're shooting for that. So,
And again, the only thing I would kind of stress is the approximate orientation and location of the school looks relatively
mhm,
set in stone.
yeah.
There's still some conversations we haven't been able to have about the road because we're waiting.
Right. But generally speaking, we'll spend whatever time it takes to get it to the point where you all are satisfied with it, even if you have questions. And
I really do think. I think
Okay.
we're there, honestly.
okay,
I think we.
Yes. Yeah, well, and that's a good question because in this site plan, it actually is not showing up very well, but
there.
Okay,
yeah,
so
let's
there's
go
no
to the
side.
blue,
Okay,
yeah.
'cause it looked
It kind of
far away, yeah,
bleeds
yeah.
in this
Okay.
picture, so it's hard to see, but yeah, there's a whole front 130-foot long, I think, covered canopy, and then it turns back to the entry to the building, so you're covered all the way in.
Comparable to the
Right.
school not to be named.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's the blue building.
New building, yeah.
So that's the plans, elevations, and site plan. I know a little bit down on your agenda, which it looks like the next three items, so I'll stay up here. But you have a BG2, which is relative to this building, which is pretty much the kind of dry and boring KD form that just says the square footage, like we said, at 74,000 square feet. One thing to note here is that, and I say possibly solar, the PV is photovoltaic panels, but solar panels on the roof. And the lower side of this roof is facing south, so,
Yeah, the back
and it's sloped. So right now, the plan would be to put solar panels on the back side facing south, because that's the best way to do it
That
with a
happens to be the
slope.
direction we go.
Yeah.
Right, we just needed more information on it.
Well, and we're working with the engineer right now on how many. I mean, it would pretty much be, like 10 foot from each end all the way across until we get, there's kind of a valley in there. And I can do a diagram that shows you all a little bit more. But how much
'Cause I
that
don't write it
of
down.
the total electric that actually satisfy, the electrical need that it satisfies is what our engineers are working on right now. I mean, it will most likely just be in the range of 5 to 10%,
seen that.
which is still good. I mean, it's still good to be able to produce that much energy. And when the school's hardly running at all, it's running on its own practically, especially in the spring or the fall. But to do more than that, we would probably have to go over onto the flat roof or set some in the field, and I just don't know if we're ready for that. But if we're doing an alternate, it's a number that you all can see and say, we think it's worth it, or not.
And you'll have that information to us here soon, correct?
Now, you're talking about how? Yes, how
On the panels?
Well, I mean, it will be listed as an alternate, so therefore, when we get bids, the bid will come in as base bid, whatever the alternates are, so we will know based on the alternate item, cost change.
We
So
will-
I would say prior to us getting the bids, we
Yeah.
need to get more information about it.
Yes. Kind of like the panels themselves and how much percentage of electricity that it'll
Well,
feed
it's
the building.
that and long-term care and,
Mhm.
Your effectiveness on the roof, there's all kinds of things to consider.
For instance, one of the things that I learned from our
Maintenance.
conversation at our weeks
Mhm.
ago,
Mhm.
always framed in my head 20 years, but I've heard could be 30.
And it's improving. If you look at payback, which isn't always the only answer to doing something sustainable or green, it's generally been in the area of about 20 years. Well, that's also been the lifespan of the panels. So it's like, well, okay, I start getting paid back in 20 years, but I got to buy a whole new set of panels. So all of a sudden, you don't really gain, and who knows how expensive they're going to be in 20 years. That's bumped up to 30 years now, and the payback has been shown to be a little bit sooner. Now, I don't have anything in writing, but that's the kind of stuff that I'd like to get to you.
Yes, we
where-
need more
And
information.
Yeah.
again, too, like I expressed to you all, my sole interest is education.
Mhm.
So, what I have seen is research to support that these schools have solar, then you see more energy conscious students. And I'm just looking at it through that. We could do it in a way where we feel comfortable, payback would make sense. I don't,
Right,
not saying we put it everywhere, but I'd
Well,
be
we've got a
intrigued.
lot of roofs. I mean, it's not like
right.
we don't have space that's right for it.
Mhm.
Every southern-facing school roof in the county could be storing up energy.
Mhm.
Think about it long-term potential,
Mhm.
but we have to understand it.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm just asking, please get that information
Oh,
to us
yes.
prior to bid. I don't want to just go to bid and then all of a sudden, here we are looking at a number and we didn't have time to research it.
Sure,
So
sure.
just get that to us so we
Sure.
can take a closer look at it, please.
Makes all the sense in the world.
Okay, thank you.
And of course, energy efficient design, we do energy efficient designs. This other stuff is, they want to know the power coming to the building, lighting in the classrooms. We follow all the standards. I don't think you all have any comments about any of the schools that we've done that don't have enough light in the learning spaces. There's cubbies in each room, as we talked about before. Those are in the contract. And the finishes in the building will be pretty much like what you see at Creekside, with core tile in the kitchen, a lot of rubber tile in the classroom spaces, terrazzo in the corridors, and a wood gym floor. Any questions on the BG2? BG3 is exactly the numbers that you saw on your BG1. We've actually seen a little bit of a downtrend in the last 6 months or so in the cost of shocking, can you imagine? Including an elementary school we just bid 2 weeks ago, which came in under, really what we had thought, and did not quite hit the square footage costs that we had seen for the past 5 or 6 years. You know how everything, and real estate has just been escalating as well. With that said, I don't recommend that we change the numbers on here. So you've got them set, because ultimately it's just what is it on bid day, and then you'll make all your financial adjustments after you award the bid, should you do so. The other item is I'm sorry, any questions on the finance page for the BG3? I noticed the Garth change orders are on the agenda. Those, I think I talked about them last time when we were looking at the pictures. They took out brick, which we told them to do. They took out drywall, and they saw rusted lintels, and at that old school, we just could, so it was pretty expensive for them to get up there on 3-story buildings and take out lintels. So that's what the change orders for on Garth. And I believe that's everything.
Very good. Any questions for Tony? No? Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Number 8, approve change order 01 Garth Elementary School repairs.
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 9, approve BG2 for elementary school number 10 design development.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 10, approve BG3 for elementary school number 10.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 11, approve to accept bid from Hastings Custom Landscapes LLC to provide landscaping services at Scott County High School.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Seems like a bargain.
I believe there were
I
three,
mean-
Dwayne, there were 3 bids on that, and there was one that was within $100 or so of Hastings.
That just seems really
Well,
expensive.
what we found when we put all the properties out to bid, when we first went this path, we found that sometimes we might find some
Sneak one in.
advantages to
Yeah.
where, then they realize, I might not do
Yeah.
that same
Fair
thing.
enough.
She was talking about, it seemed like a like a
Seemed like a
deal.
bargain. Yeah. I was just surprised.
We've also got another package coming.
I saw that. They're gonna
We
do some
donate.
addition. That's great.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah, I saw some of the posts.
You need some more trees. I know somebody, they could probably just give them a little raised eyebrow that might. I'm just talking about the fact that you've got that effect on, we all respect you so much that former students, you could, you might, just a little look might,
No pressure there. Number 12, student achievement report. Welcome, everybody. And we're sorry for the ill-placed column, but we'll just do this as you're talking,
It is very good to be here. So we're going to be talking Shelby Hart from Creekside Elementary. Casey Ryan from Eastern Elementary, second grade. Rachel Maxwell from Southern.
Yay.
Ooh.
Good job.
Frederick from Scott County Middle School.
Great.
So we are going to be talking four components of iReady now. Our iReady diagnostic, which we have been using magnetic reading, which is our 3 through 5 program. Ready reading, which is also our K2, basically our reading program, and then Ready Classroom, which is K through 5 program. So the way we have this designed, had come up with writing questions, and we provided it to our panel here, and together. So they're going to kind of tell you what the question is, and then they're taking slides.
Right. So our first was how effective have we found the iReady diagnostic in accurately assessing student needs and strengths? And collectively, we all agreed that it actually is really pretty accurate for our students' strengths and needs. It's a very adaptive assessment. So depending on where their scale score is, where their placement is, their MyPath will correlate to that standard that they're in. So they're able to bridge the gap, whether they're below grade level, on grade level, or above grade level. It definitely has all the components to push them. It also breaks it down even more to the domains of.
I've been told I have to do.
But we also
That was not pressed either.
He does that to me too. It's okay.
I'm just going with the flow. But it has those domains. So each diagnostic that is given, it also breaks it into the domain of where that student is performing in that certain standard. So that whenever us teachers are planning for instruction, we are able to really have that meaning to the differentiation of instruction to help us plan with the tier data intervention. And then it also is a good placement graph where students can see and understand themselves of where their growth and where their learning is taking them.
You did very well, by the way, very professionally with all these people interfering with your whole presentation. Very good.
It definitely is a teacher thing.
It is. You did great.
I really don't feel like I need a microphone. Did you turn it off?
I
Okay.
don't either. I don't either, but
All right. So, how has the data provided by iReady helped you to differentiate instruction and provide targeted support to your students? We talked collectively that it gives information that tells us about what they are, where they are excelling, and where they need instruction the most. Specifically, as the interventionist, the MTSS teacher, I really like that I can use that data. We talk about it monthly at our student progress meetings. When I meet with all the teachers, we take that and we talk about how they're performing in class. And then but as the MTSS teacher, I can take the reports and I can print that, and it does like the instructional grouping for me. And then it'll even like give me instructional priorities based on the kids in this group need this. Target this, and then it even gives me tools like if I, need resources, I can supplement what I have with that. And then it does break it down into each domain as well. It tells me kids that are a year behind or 2 years behind in each domain, or kids that are on grade level or above grade level. I really that's one of my favorite things is that it puts them into the groups that way. The teacher toolbox is a wealth of resources. I learned that last year at the cohort and with Wendy, and the lady from iReady, Lucy, and there are so many things there in the toolbox. So that was great. You can click on the standard. I really like that I can look at each standard and see how my kids are, my students in particular, and where I can create report groups and do that. I can see where they have, how they are as far as mastering that. And it's just very user friendly. Took me a little bit of time to play around with it and get familiar with it, but then once it was very easy to work with.
How has the implementation of iReady impacted your instructional planning? It's totally fine. It's good. I promise. Okay, so as we all talked about, we talked about how we are still using our district pacing guide and we are still going through our PLCs, but iReady has really given us a strong foundation of here are our standards, here's what needs to be taught, and here's what each standard is asking from us. We said that it really has helped us with vertical planning, so whatever, I teach 5th grade, so whatever 4th grade is needing, it transfers over to 5th grade. 5th grade, they're ready for the 6th grade content. So it's easy to plan for all of the levels across the board. We also talked about how specifically in math, the strategies and the vocabulary is easily taught throughout our whole school. So it's not, some of them are calling it this strategy, some are calling it the area strategy. It's the same consistent vocabulary through every single grade. And so it's really built this foundation of the students know what to expect. It's the same strategies, it's the same vocabulary, and we can kind of move with that. We also noticed it is helping the rigor of our instruction. The questions that it is asking, they are very rigorous. They know how to ask the students questions that as an 11-year teacher, I still don't know that level of rigor, and it is really showing in our classroom because students are understanding concepts instead of just memorizing the steps to go through it. We are noticing that we have a lot of gaps to close, but that iReady is closing them because we can notice them using the reports, and we can notice them because of the strategies that they might be lacking just yet, but iReady is getting them with their MyPath and us able to align the curriculum. So while the program has taken a little bit of time to learn, I definitely think that as a 5th grade teacher, as each grade level uses it, by the time they get up to 5th grade and on to middle school, it's building a foundation that is really helping definitely in the math world.
So how has iReady facilitated collaboration amongst teachers? Honestly, I think iReady has just made the collaborations very seamless and easy. You have the ability just to look at your data and your resources all in one place. It's easy as a team to talk with each other in PLC and with your administration and to really, focus on those student progress meetings. It also is easy to get the resources and the material and the data and to, talk to our MTSS intervention teachers and assistants or our special ed teachers or even some of the classified staff. As a teacher, sometimes we use those classified staff to pull some students, maybe individually or in small groups, and just help, pinpoint some of those skills and just push them that extra little step. And iReady and having the materials all in one place and the data all there, it's just really easy to collaborate with each other. Also, as a school, we can collaborate with other schools, and you're able to use the same language and the same resources, and you're able to bounce ideas off of each other and really just communicate within each other. So not just with your teachers in your building, but different grade levels, administration, and then within the school, the whole district's able to use it alongside each other.
How does iReady motivate students to learn and practice? Are there any specific features or games that you find particularly engaging? So as the only secondary person here, I'm going to speak to the things that apply to me and then pass it down. One of the things, we obviously use the diagnostic with goal setting. That information is very specific and relevant. And another thing that we like is the projected proficiency report. And I was talking earlier about how I even have those conversations with the middle schoolers when they're like, why do we have to do this? I'm like, well, this is why the district provided this program for us, and this is why it's individualized, it's research-based, and it really correlates with the KSA test, and it's pretty accurate and helps us know how you're going to do. But one of the things that we do at the middle school is, we have a very strong behavior system, and we initiated or started data folders this year with our iReady, and that really created a lot of positive motivation, because now we've connected that to to cards, tickets that they can get and redeem for prizes, and then they can also do it things that cost money, but also things that don't cost money that they want to do, lunch with certain teachers, and maybe dress code or hat day or whatever, different things. But another thing about the data folders that I like that we use is in there where they track their lessons, and they're keeping track of the lessons they're passing, and for the rewards as far as motivation. But it also, they keep their information from the diagnostic, which helps. So when they meet with their teachers for mentoring and goal setting, when they have those data chats, it also is right there, accessible for them all the time. It stays in their advisory class, and so then they are always aware of, this is where I performed last time, and when they have those goals and they have the reflection on there, and they can see the levels of the lesson that they're doing, and that's kind of motivating for our kids.
From a kindergarten, can you hear me? Okay. From a kindergarten perspective, it's really, really good to motivate kids because we do anchor charts. And so we'll have, let's just say a picture of a turkey. And if they meet the certain lessons, they'll get to color in a feather. And so they get really excited to do that. That's like personal tracking and by the class. It also connects to our goal setting portion of Leader in Me. So we've been able to connect that two new things, and that's been really good. Positive dojo points for passing lessons. Also, they can play math games after they finish their MyPath minutes for the week. The other thing that I personally love is the interactive practice that I can assign. So if I just, like today, I taught a lesson on 2D shapes, and then when I was finished with my lesson, I could pull a small group, and then another group was on the interactive practice that was 2D. You can assign it exactly what you're working on, so it reinforces in their small group, and that's good.
What does reading instruction look like in your classroom using the iReady resources, particularly magnetic reading or ready reading for our primary grades? So in our primary grades, you have a group of books, picture books, and they are using the same picture books over and over and over again and just reinforcing new skills. So as a primary teacher, I enjoy, because they know the background of the story, so it takes away trying to figure out what's happening, and it's more so you're pinpointing exactly what the skills are that you're working on. So I've really enjoyed, a lot of times we think of what new book can we pull into our instruction. That takes it out of it. Like, it does it for us, and you really see the progress being made within one book. They're diving deeper than I ever could imagine on just a single book. But then in a whole group setting, it applies to real world connections. Everything you do ties back into the real world, and it connects to them personally. Within the material, along with PLC and our curriculum maps, the iReady just takes all the guesswork out of basically lesson planning. You have your units, you have your lessons. Within the lessons, as you go through your teacher manual, it has built-in, discussions. So we'll lead a discussion as a class, but then the students can talk amongst each other and in small groups, and they're really taking ownership of their learning. Also with the lessons, you have these built-in EL supports, and you also have built-in higher order thinking questions. So, it takes that pre-planning of, let me think, how can I address this need? How can I ask this question? How am I going to reach all students? It does it for you. It's really just a seamless way of going about your lesson, and it checks all the boxes for you. With small groups, you have the teacher toolbox, which is a surplus of resources. and you're able to look at students and you're able to pinpoint exactly what skills they need, and you can pull whatever the level is out of the teacher toolbox and work with the students with the materials that are given to you. So, I mean, I've just really enjoyed having something there that is consistent. We're able to use the same language amongst grade levels and schools, and it's just been honestly just great to see and have.
So, what does math instruction look like in your classroom using Ready Classroom Math? So, I'm going to kind of piggyback off of the reading because a lot of it is the same. There is still the higher order thinking. It still guides us to those targeted groups. The program actually groups your students as soon as they take the diagnostic to the different standards, to the different lessons that you're teaching. But as a whole group instruction, it has turned from me teaching to the students doing their part and taking their ownership of their learning. And so every lesson starts with some kind of try it problem, and the students have about 10 minutes to try it by themselves, and then they can talk to their partner. You're hearing math vocabulary. They're doing their sentence starters like I agree with you, I disagree with you, I use this math strategy, I use this one. But it's really cool as a teacher, we can go and say, hey, will you go put your strategy on the board? Hey, will you put your strategy on the board? And they can see all of the ways that you can solve that one problem. So it's not me up there saying, step 1 is this, step 2 is this, memorize these steps. So then we also talked about how the targeted groups again, I have found it phenomenal that my MTSS teachers, they can come in, they can know the lesson that I'm on. This is what I'm teaching. I'm going to teach these in the next couple of weeks. They can pull those papers, strategy skills, and everything, and they can even pre-teach some of the things that the MTSS students might be seeing in class. And I've noticed a huge improvement of participation in math because students know that there's not one way to solve it. You can solve it. All of these strategies that we're learning, we both teach math, so we're like, it has came a difference of, I'm doing standard algorithm, carrier 1, add them 1, 2. There are multiple ways to solve this. It just really has gave our students the freedom to choose how to solve problems in math, choosing their own kind of options. And it's really made it easy for us to use the prerequisite reports to just get students' needs met daily.
It also does a really good job for us teachers. It has built in like misconceptions, which is a huge thing whenever you're trying to plan of like, well, if this goes wrong, then I got to be on the fly of like plan B. But it tells you, like it breaks it down to help you find that misconception. And it's like, if they still do this, then maybe try this. And so it's just a really good way to instruct. Okay. So how has having the iReady resources changed your classroom instruction? Kind of going off of what Natasha said is that students really are taking ownership of their own learning. Instead of it being more teacher-led, it's more like student voice with teacher facilitation. We are able to introduce the topic, and then each lesson has like a 3-day or a 4-day. So it's like develop or explore, develop, refine, but there might be 2 develops. And so you introduce it, but then the other days it's like just really like reviewing those to where students can build that confidence and they have that opportunity to talk about their learning and talk about their strategy and be able, and like every single lesson and every single unit, it says, you know, the one thing is explain the strategy and why. So students, they feel that confidence because they're like, oh, like I know what that one is talking about. And even though I may have thought last year that I wasn't strong in math, all of this has really helped me. And same with reading, because you can pull in from what they're talking about in reading, whether it be text features or their key details or anything like that. With their math word problems, they're able to pinpoint out those details. What's important? What's not important? How is that going to help me answer this question? So it's just really helped with the instruction of students feeling confident in their learning and what they're talking about.
What has been your favorite part of the instructional resources? So students, we know that in the district, some students can move around and it makes it really easy for them to pick back up where they left off. If they come to a new school, we might be on the same lesson, hopefully, like maybe a week off or something. But more assessment options are used. So the assessment that we give, it's called ESGI, and that's what we give. It has the iReady questions directly pulled from iReady. So when kids see it, they're not intimidated. They've been practicing it all week and they know it. The slides match the student workbook, so I can pull up Google Slides and add those math slides straight into my like daily slides. They have notes for teachers right on the slide, so I can look, and if I don't have my teacher manual right in front of me because I teach kindergarten and we're kind of running around, I can look up on the slides and know exactly what I was going to ask. Also, like a huge positive for me, I teach at Creekside and we have a high EL population. We have been using the cultural connections, and that will just make a kid light up when they see that we're counting empanadas on the screen. They're like, oh, we had those last night, and they'll tell us all about it. So it's more than just math. It's been really, really great, and I would say overall we are very, very pleased with it. One more thing, the parent communication, you can also change it into different languages, so that's been very helpful too. And it's already done for you. You can send it you can assign through Google Classroom so the parents can see it, or you can print it off. And then actually the last thing is iReady is very, very, very great for NTI days. Very great. You can assign it. It's personalized instruction, and their parents know how to help, and their parents really don't have to help them at all because we just do such a great job. And it's 32 degrees. It's 32 degrees.
So that's the presentation. So, do you have any further questions for the?
I got.
I knew you would. I'm glad you did.
Well, first of all, thank you. This is my idea. I wanted just to know. I mean, we put something into place, and we just want to know it works. And I am using iReady for math only, but I don't have all the fancy bells and whistles. So I'm jealous. But how has planning changed for you all from before the highly qualified curriculum now?
Who wants to do it?
Yeah, we still use our pacing guide, of course. And then whenever we go to PLCs, we are not second guessing what the standard means. This is what it means. Here are the prerequisites that we need to teach. Here's what we need to teach for this lesson. And so it's easy to do that. And then we pull up the slides pretty quickly. We're not making the cutesy slides. Here's our slides. They match exactly the book. It's very consistent with everything. It just makes it a lot of the process streamlined. Here are for students that need enrichment. Here are for students that need an extra boost. Here are for students that are on grade level. And so it kind of gives you all of those things that you need. And I think it has significantly, as a teacher, I hope they agree, it has taken our planning time from hours to we are focused on exactly what needs to be taught. Significantly less planning time, I hope. Is that?
Celebrate.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you have to have a sub, the guide is right there, and your student.
So how was the change? Because for me, I'm from what I level of teaching the same thing. Like I was expecting to get it right. They didn't get it. Oh my gosh, I'm supposed to. So how was that? How was it? what I heard, like if I'm the EL teacher, they have access, so you don't have extra. So this is my first year. So we got K4. Well, but somebody piloted it, right?
Magnetic
Okay. Because that's why, because a lot. I'm just, I'm for and we have NASA. It's not gonna work. It's not working. It's not what my kids are doing. We've got EL kids. They can't do this. So I guess y'all use anybody. Because I just want to know, like, if you're gonna see a light come out, like, oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. Was also and math same program. Platform. Yeah. Did you all on a work or online? Because what I noticed is sometimes the wording is different. Like last year, what we used to do, or just work. That's what throws them off, and not actually. Y'all see that?
For sure. Hey, I've had my share of those. So
Off
go,
me.
girl. Go.
Do we have any other questions?
I have one, and if this is a stupid question, just tell me I'm stupid and skip it. But I keep visualizing. So iReady, and you're working with it, and I'm visualizing. Of course, when I was in a classroom forever ago, but so you all have your favorite units that you've taught, or you've curated a unit or your team. Does all that go away and everything is through this, or is this just facilitating? You're easily able to take a unit you've loved and that you've had success with and transition it over so that the iReady platform is supporting that without having to completely redo everything you had going. I'm just curious about that. Sure. And that's a good thing. I mean, that's what we were hoping to find. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, all right. But also, we don't want teachers.
Sure. Okay.
Because we've
Right.
never learned this program before.
Yeah.
And so explaining how do you
About okay, the structure of our. Oh, well, so really. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Very helpful.
Good job. Thank you.
That was very informative. Very.
Is that turned off? That mic.
Do they in order?
I'm assuming. Okay. Number 13, approve calendar committee recommendation for the 2025-2026 school year.
Thank you, ladies.
I move to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 14, approve Section 7 funding.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Approve to create the following positions 15A and 15B.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 16, approve agreement between UK Singletary Center and Scott County Board of Education.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 17, ratify, approve Scott County Middle School Booster Club and Support Group agreements and documentation for 2024-2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 18, approve 2025 capital funds request.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 19, approve surplus items as submitted.
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 20, financial report. Hello, Gina.
One of those things.
We're
Take a
glad
pic,
you're
Gina.
here.
Long day. That's pretty good.
Oh, my gosh.
Not at this
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you. Number 21, approve current bills.
Move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 22, superintendent report.
First, I'd like to start by saying I want to just really applaud Stephanie Emmons and her team because, in addition to the presentation, one of the things that they have been very dialed in on is making sure that we don't just have an instructional resource check box, that we have the instructional resource and those supporting pieces that go with it to make it be a true for our. So I continue to be amazed, and we have reached, I believe, we're at a different point now where we have to be cognizant of, again, the question about, I was like you, I had some things I was passionate about that somehow I was going to find a way to work them in. But I think, too, we've also got sometimes some folks, they didn't maybe even have a true pathway that a lot of us had to get there. So they need a tremendous amount of support on the front end. So it might look more by the book, page turn, but they also have that opportunity to not have to win as time goes on. So I really commend her team because they've been committed to that, and it shows with the discussions. It shows sometimes with some of the talk we have around how we use our funds flexibly, trying to find ways to spend big chunks on these instructional.
Billy, we're moving the dial. I mean, like what you said. I mean, when I think about, I got handed a set of keys, told I was in room 242. That's all I was told. Here's your keys. And I didn't even know where the teacher's bathroom was for the first year, much less trying to put together units and be a good teacher and to give that foundation. And if you've got that, it takes that foundational stress off.
Yep.
And that's when you start to have the time to curate and build something. I'm jealous.
I'm not.
Not that I taught reading or math,
Speaking kind of strategic leadership that we're trying to do. Again, the solar discussion that we talked a little bit about, that's something that came up for me this past month. We've got site visits rolling. Me and Miss Emmons have been in several schools, and we've got several more upcoming between now and winter break. And we did our school-by-school debriefs on Halloween, actually, where we went through KSA results and had all the principals talk to us about their understanding of, okay, here's where we are. Here we see this is what our next steps to be, and that way we could work together to make sure we're supporting them. Cultural leadership, I did get a chance. Veterans Day was a crazy day, but I did get a chance to start the day being very festive. Went to Garth. They had a Veterans Day program there. They had in the library. Of course, everybody got to tell us how wonderful the windows were. But we also got a great opportunity to celebrate the veterans that were connected to Garth Elementary. Bluegrass Career and Technical College, they have a regional opportunity council that I'm a part of, and got to attend that meeting. And from that meeting, we've had some other meetings with BCTC outside of that to kind of talk about just ways we can be better partners and make sure that we're not missing any opportunities. Changes in legislation, different things that have sometimes presented challenges to us. They also celebrated their 85th anniversary, and I believe that was more of KCTCS as a platform, but they had a celebration there, and one of our students from Great Crossing High School, she did I didn't get to stay for that part, came back and had missed it, but she missed an excellent part that Miss Courtney had done. She's Skills USA, all things at Great Crossing High School. I think you all might have. She's presented several. Super go-getter, and I'm really excited to see where life takes her. Human Resources Leadership. Myself, Krista Horde, and Miss Emmons, we went to EKU. They hosted an event in conjunction with Central Kentucky Education Cooperative, and really it was a chance for superintendents, assistant superintendents, district leadership, and HR professionals to really just talk through all the different ways we can promote the teaching learning pathway, so to speak, and from all walks of life, from undergrad, what can we help in supporting with them at the college, to what are we doing specifically with our teaching and learning pathways. And actually that supported a lot of what, with the Section 7 request where we added that one piece to ECS, that 1/6 position for ECS. It solidified our thoughts behind doing that. We went to that meeting because some of the ideas and some of the things that other districts were doing fit along that path. So again, it just it was very beneficial, and from that, you know, you get Crystal Hord's mind turning on different things in terms of how we're going to get people certified, and she's wanting to reach out to all kinds of different universities. University of Louisville specifically was the last one we talked about because they're the only organization that offers a MSD pathway through a different option, an alternative pathway. So we're going to reach out to them and try and see. Elementary 10 planning meetings of a variety of topics, I guess, specifically have taken place, and then conversations with the developer about the elementary 10 and the neighborhood tie-in. We've continued those, and those are all going really well. Spent some time with Josh and with Dwayne talking about the SRO contract review, and that's why we've kind of pushed that off, and you won't see that until we're completely ready, but we've had a lot of really good, solid discussions and making sure that that's super firm and agreeable for both sides. I did want to speak really quickly. I think I've sometimes missed this opportunity. G's Table is a not-for-profit organized by Francis Wilson's family. Francis Wilson, longtime transportation for here for us at Scott County School. She passed a few years back. Her family has created this. She was always known for, maybe there were staff members or people bringing her house and feed. I'm getting upset about it. But anyway, it's been great to see what her family's been doing in her honor. And so G's Table is an organization that they collect funds and then they turn around and spend those funds on employees that are struggling. So last year they were able to 33 families. All the different things. So anyway, just wanted to put that out there that we always try to work with them because it's a great organization that really works to support our people.
And excuse me, Billy, they also spoke at one of the Chamber of Commerce luncheons.
Yes, that's right. That's correct.
And it is a wonderful, and both of them are in the schools. The son and daughter-in-law
That's right.
teach and are in the school.
Mike works for us. He's at Western Elementary as our STC, technology coordinator, and then Kate works at
Scott County Middle, right?
They're doing meals.
Yeah, I
And
saw that in
sometimes
the
it
paper.
sometimes it's looked different, but this is now. I mean, there's
Great.
yeah, it's really touching, really touching. I really awesome connected how Francis. And then last but not least, had a chance to meet just the other day with Senator-elect Matt Nunn. Really, man, breath of fresh air to be able to. I mean, I don't want to say too much to get myself, but I'm really excited about the fact that we could have some really good conversation. He already knows he's got opportunity to reach out to me at any point, and I will be shocked if he's not in our school before the end of the school year, because he's really wants to know. We want him to know what's going on. We want him to see that we don't like Mr. Davis shared. We don't want anybody thinking seriously urgency every day. And that
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to say thank you for the presentation this evening. Very good presentation. I really appreciate it. It's exciting to hear about our new programs. We go through and we're given a presentation. We approve the dollar amount. We approve the policy. We do all of these different things, but we really like to hear about really what's going on there. I liked hearing that it is very resourceful, the consistency, of course, the rigor. We've got a lot of goals that we're trying to reach here. We all talk about those often, and I appreciate that it seems like this is a very useful tool. and the consistency across a district from one school to the next. It's not you do this, you do this, you do this. We've got resources available. And that's really important for our staff to be successful. So thank you for the presentation. I thought it was very well presented, and I was excited to see, you know, the presentation tonight. They did a very good job. So thank you very much. Would you like to jump in, please?
Oh, okay, sure. Just three quick things. One is I'm so delighted that amendment number 2 passed as well as it did across all of the state, but I really appreciate and continue to appreciate our community in Scott County because our people know we are trying to do our very best for their kids, and they are supporting us in every way they can, and we so take that to heart. Appreciate that. The other thing is I am so delighted to have our board back strongly. I feel like we are a really strong board that appreciates each other, has great discussions together, and we were all here for one reason, and that is for the success of all of our students in Scott County. So I'm delighted we're going to move forward with that. And I had some friends in the community who were so touched by what our students did. Mr. Davis had mentioned the Veterans Day. They would go to restaurants and these letters would be presented to them from our students. And when I was over at the house of one friend, he had his sitting up on a table and he said, I just continued to look at them. And that was such a touching thing for these students to do and to be made aware of the contribution that we've made. So thank you for anyone who organized that.
I just want to say I'm excited to be back. And hold on. Okay, here we go. Yay! Woo! I'm so excited. I want to say thank you to the 1,700 people that plus who voted for me. Thank you because you believed in me. And I believe in this school district, and I'm so glad to be back with you. Awesome. And thank you. Because first of all, as a teacher that goes to work each and every day and needs the support, we are doing that in this district. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because if we support our teachers, then the job will be done. And so thank you.
Susan?
A lot of y'all covered it, but I will say congratulations to Diana as well, to Wendy. So glad that everything worked out the way we wanted it to, and our board got to be together for 2 more years anyway. We'll see what happens in 2 years, ladies. But I'm so glad there wasn't some dark horse write-in candidate that surprised me because I obviously wasn't prepared to do anything, but it was a great birthday present to win the undefeated or non-competitive race that I was in. These ladies were a breath of fresh air. It's just so nice to have the professionals from the school buildings come at a meeting and hear from them. I had a former student in there, so that was pretty cool, but just some really impressive teachers. We all are proud of them.
I was just going to say, Stephanie is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm in a sorority, and we asked, I guess maybe back last year, if we could visit Scott County High School and tour it. And our members are a little elderly, but anyway, quite removed from the classroom. And we notified Stephanie and said, would you speak to our group? And she arranged for the Lighthouse team through Mr. Trent, Artie Trent, and 3 students were the guides for our group. These ladies absolutely loved it. Of course, seeing Scott County High School for the first time, that helped. But these students were wonderful. And Mr. Trent told me that one of the students, one of the guides, I think he's a sophomore, junior, he was one that just didn't know which way he was going to go. Do I follow these do I go with this? And he was asked to be in the Lighthouse team. And he was wonderful. And Stephanie came up. I'm going to do a Billy. Stephanie came up to me before the meeting and she said she was in Scott County High School. And he went up to her and said hello. So, I mean, Stephanie, that is, and our ladies were so impressed with the students. It kind of gives you a new perspective when you read the newspaper and listen to the news about students. And that's just a small, small percent. You know it, we know it, but not everybody does. So anyway, thank you so much.
Thank
What'd she say?
I said, let's sing We Are the World. Kumbaya. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We love each other. Don't y'all see it? And Mike, I didn't know you were still back here, but thank you for being positive. Mike, thank you. Thank you for sharing
Yes.
positive, because that's what's going to change the world, is sharing that positive. Because the negative always gets just blown up or whatever. And we have a great thing going on. Come on, Scott.
Get that leg up there.
Moving on. This Peace Fest for having here.
I got nothing. Go on.
I still have business to do here. Number 24. Move to closed session pursuant to KRS 61.810.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You don't have to say
Happy
it.
Thanksgiving.
My God.
Oh,
So-
thank you,
I think we
thank
should be
you.
required to say one negative thing.
No.